Let's bring in Adekunle Salah, who is the partner and advisory services leader for West Africa at Ernst & Young, to talk to us about the role of ICT in the Nigerian economy. Of course, you've seen the growth of the telcos and the expanding inroad of the broadband. Those folks are contributing very nicely to Nigeria's economy over the last decade. So, how do we place ICT within the new, very dim, cloudy, if you're going to put it, economic outlook that we currently face? Mr. Salah, thank you very much for coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So that's the question. The economy outlook is very dim. How do we place the ICT sector within that space?
Well, thank you. If you're looking at the data from what we've been seeing in the past years, you'll see that the ICT sector has been contributing significantly to the Nigerian economy. We expect this to continue, and even looking at the figure for this year already, you will have seen that the sector has remained robust, not at the level at which we expected, but definitely is holding its own. Even your own subsector of that is doing really well.
The media.
Yeah. So the broadcasting and media, they're doing really well. Year to date, your sector have contributed about close to $1 trillion to the economy. So we expect a lot more in that area.
From a research analyst point of view, you said, well, not as where we would want it to be. If you break that sector down a little bit, where is the sector needing a further energy from where we left off in the last administration? Where do you think more energy should be put in as we look at the economy looking a little bit cloudy?
The emphasis, I think the last government has done very well, extremely well. What this new government needs to do is to take it from where they've left. But they need to lay more emphasis on what I would classify as a technology subsector. So when you look at the data being provided by the Bureau of Statistics, you will see that generally, telecommunication and information services has been grouped together. What happened is in that subsector, really what they're reporting is the huge contribution of the telecommunication sector into the economy. Now, the underperforming element in that is really the technology bit. And that is really where I will expect Nigerians to focus on. That subsector can significantly contribute to the growth of our economy.
Explain to us what you mean by technology subsector of the ICT. You mean developing, building something like this brick and mortar, or perhaps this kind of gizmos? They talk about mobile phones. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, gizmos will be part of it, but really, I don't think we're there, and that's not where our sweet spot is.
So what can we?
Our sweet spot is in the area of software development, and that's easier for us. It's also because we have a lot of very savvy young Nigerians who are the people that are really dominating this kind of economy. It's also very easy to produce a lot of this. So all you need are a bunch of very brilliant kids who have very great ideas and who, there are so many business issues to be solved in Nigeria. So looking at that, that's an area that can quickly just transform this economy. Now, another thing is when you really look at Nigeria, our spend on technology generally is very low compared to what it should be. So we're a developing economy, and when you see our services are horrible, so we can use technology to really job frog that. The people at the helm of this right now are largely the banking and telecommunication sector. But I will expect the government to take the lead in the sense that they can actually start automating their service delivery. So not only at the federal level, really, I will expect the state government. They are all talking about not being able to pay. And part of the reason for that is because a lot of the service delivery we are currently handling manually done. So if they employ the use of technology, they can bring down the cost of doing business, and therefore things can move faster. And that will contribute significantly to our economy. Now, there's a danger there, though, which I need to point out. Today, a large portion of what we spend on this area is being imported. So we need to invest heavily in local content.
I was about what agencies should we be holding on to for this? Is it the NTDA, the Technology Development Agency?
Well, yeah, they can, but really, my take on this is I think this should be private sector led. Even the government spend should be spent on private sector type of services rather than some government creating some other agencies where bureaucracy will continue to creep into our economy. That's not really where you are going to have the leverage. It's you and I putting our money in this sector.
In practical terms, how do we grab these young, talented folks together, bunch them together, and get them to start work? How do you think, who does that, the government or the private sector? Should companies do that? Will Ernst & Young be doing that?
Well, Ernst & Young, we are doing that on our part. Right now, we're encouraging young entrepreneurs. We're encouraging, and we are spending heavily in also trying to put some of this investment to bear in West Africa and in Nigeria in particular. And we think it's a major growth platform for us. So we are significantly investing. We hope other Nigerians and other private sector organizations will invest in this. This is the area where we really see a lot of growth.
We're looking at revenue decline, we're looking at problems with the non-oil sector. Things are a little bit base forming, so to speak. How do you think the ICT sector has what it takes? Do you think if we fix ICT from the angle of software development, applications, do you think that will have a knock-on positively on the other side of the table?
It should. And if what history have been telling us, you could see the valuation of most of these tech companies. So you can imagine if Nigeria starts having the likes of Google, the likes of Twitter in our environment. And there are so many problems to be solved. Luckily for us, the penetration of mobile phone is growing. So that's the area where we think that this real focus will be. And it doesn't take too much to develop some of these applications. It just take a lot of concentration and people understanding how the technology can actually help in solving business problems.
So you talk about government, and we'll go back to the government because most of the things done by the government is still manual. So do you think we should apply, how does that apply to population, for example, census and things like that?
Well, already we started seeing some of this effect. You saw that in the elections where we started using some technology-based products to really fulfill our election. That can go a bit further. Government will need to change some of the technology though. They also need to protect intellectual property. So government will need to set the base, but they shouldn't try to invest too much. Our experience with government investment have shown that it just doesn't make sense. Now we are working with the federal government to also help to create a seed funding in which the government and private sector can both together put money in a fund that would then invest in some of these institutions that I'm talking about. But the good thing about that is government is investing, so government is actually not giving money out as we used to do. So we have helped the federal government to refocus the issue of UWIN to say that's actually not sustainable. So we believe that the investment will be a proper method of going. And when you do that, government can then cash out of this investment as these companies continue to grow. And these companies have multiplying effect on the economy, so they also have, they can quickly attract foreign direct investment. The interesting aspect of this is you can do this in your garages, you can do this at home, you can do this in the, not only in Lagos, but even in other parts of Nigeria. And you can also start having a lot of global clients, and that can bring in a lot of the much needed foreign exchange.
Let's talk so specifically about UWIN.
Yeah, you know, hitherto the UWIN has been more of a dole-out. So we've said that is totally unsustainable. What we've done with the federal government is to repackage...
The new government or the previous one?
The previous government, and the new government has latched onto this. Is to help the government to repackage this as an investment rather than a grant. And what that would do is it will actually give our younger people, so they will present their business cases. And investors will look at those business cases and invest in the business and be able to take this company to the next level, which means they will help them with governance, they will help them with setting up the right appropriate infrastructure that allow a company to grow. And thereby, when this company continue to grow, they can go to capital market, or some other investors can buy government out, and government will then make multiple of that money which they have, and they can then put that again into incubating new businesses. So it continues, and government will continue to have their dividends and be able to have more money into the dwindling purse.
Do you think, from what we've done so far, are there any new areas of initiatives within the ICT space that you think the new administration can concentrate on or can start building?
There will still be a lot more. Like I said, I think apps development is a major area. And the new government should latch on to what the last government has done in terms of creating incubation houses where you can provide the infrastructure, and people with the ideas and business skills can come in and use those infrastructure. So for instance, that one of the biggest problems we currently have is energy. So you can create a center where you can guarantee at least 16 hours constant supply of energy, and people can go into that center and continue to do their business, because technology is huge on power. So those are the kind of things we will see government trying to do. But in doing that, you also need to have very savvy business management people who are helping directing these young brains. You also need to be able to bring in a lot of private sector investment to help these companies to grow as they continue. The other thing is being able to market these products. Right now, Nigerians are not really very too comfortable with buying Nigerian-made products in this area. But when they see that level of seriousness and more business-savvy people are helping these young people to develop their businesses, then there will be confidence. And both Nigerians and non-Nigerians can buy into this.
Okay. I think we'll have a lot to talk about this moving forward. We'll like to keep an eye on you as far as the UN is concerned. And a few other things. We will.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much.
I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about. Adekunle Salah, thank you very much for your time. Partner and leader, Ernst & Young Advisory Services for West Africa.